Thank you all for joining me to talk about Jira. And the title is Leveraging Jira to Expose Product Design Process and Facilitate Cross-Functional Collaboration. But trust me, this is not about Jira. What it's about? It's about ops. So recent years, they are all different. And there's a surge about different kind of ops, design ops. Obviously, I'm at this DevOps conference, DevOps, product ops, and also research ops, people ops, and data ops. Why ops, right? So organizations are getting better at defining where we want to go, where the company needs to go. But then the company, as the company scale, realize that we need to figure out what to do and how to get there. And this is where the ops come in as the company scale. So what flavor of ops, right? I am design ops. I lead the design operations at Cloudflare for the product experience team. Cloudflare is a global internet platform company. My job is to help our design team. This includes working with design leadership to strategize the team growth, scaling the design practice. And 2 years ago, I stood right in this very stage talking about how to establish design ops team in a company. And today, I would dig deeper to analyze how our design team work and how our design team work with cross-functional partners. And as a design op, what is my job to remove roadblocks for our designers, for our design leaders, for our design managers, so that they can do their job? So I am the connecting tissue for the team. And also, I will talk a little bit about how design ops work with DevOps. To help me out a little, Darren, if you can pull up that pool and to get a really general idea of where you're coming from, how much you know about design ops, from one end that I never heard about what is design ops, to the other end, actually, you had design ops. I know that a lot of folks put in the chat earlier talking about excited to hear about design ops. So hopefully I can run that poll later and to get a sense of where you are, how much you understand about the design ops. But I'm going to give a very high level talking about design ops. According to the Nelson Norman Group, the definition for design ops is design ops refers to the orchestration and the optimization of people, process, and the craft in order to amplify design's value and the impact at scale. People, process, and the crafts. So who are design ops practitioners? Who are the practitioners here? Partnered with the Design Ops Assembly, led by Angelus Arns, we did 2 surveys in 2 years. And the 2 surveys published in 2021 and 2022, we reported back the state of design ops. According to the latest data input by 400 practitioners, this is who we are. Many of us identify as she, her. Over 93% has a college degree. 42.6% works in the tech industry. 71.9% has 10 plus years of experience. Believe it or not all of us are coming from the design field. At the very beginning of the design ops establishment, many people coming from product management and the project management. Recent years, we start to see more and more designers are transitioning into design ops field. I talk about who we are and why, in hope of establish empathy, so then we can collaborate better with DevOps and the other ops. So what do we do? Design ops, we focus on team workflow. We help the team to improve quality and impact through process and tooling. So there's definitely a close correlation between design ops and product ops in a tech company, in a software development environment. But I will definitely get into how we work with DevOps as well. So this is what we do, and type of activities we do. So we Of course, this is also the information came from Nelson Norman Grove. And there are 3 types of activities we do. First thing is how we work. This is about people, how we organize the team, collaborate with the team, how we get work done. This is about process and the platform, how we standardize the process and support the team, how to create impact. This is about measure. And talk about celebrate and talk about and celebrate the design team's win, the success. So it's pretty broad. You will notice that if you had opportunity to work with a design ops person in your org, then you will find out that the person there probably works differently than the way I work, because design ops, the work, the day-to-day job really depends on the organization's need, depends on the team's need. And to talk about focus on people, process, platform, and the measure impact. This is our design ops pillars. People, this is about designer's journey, starting from hiring a designer and interview the designer, onboard this designer, and also professional development, and also at some point, maybe even help them exit the company. Building teams culture. And the practice is the process. What kind of process we can help the design team to establish to be more effective and to be more efficient? And the platform, this is about tools, because the tools need to support the team. And today, I'm going to focus on the platform, about the tools. So people who have heard me talk about people over process over tools. But today I'm going to come from a different direction. I'm coming from the tools direction to look at how do we utilize the tools to help the process so that the team members can do their job, and we can measure impact, and then we can celebrate small wins. So why tools? This is where the tools is sitting in the middle. The design team will use designers will use the tools, design managers will use different tools, design leadership will come in to use tools, design ops will support a team for all the tools that we need. But this is where it comes in really important. The design ops need to collaborate with IT and the DevOps to make sure the tool we set up is working for the people who need these tools. So I'm going to dig into a tool as a case study today. So it's about Jira. I'm using Jira as an example, but I'm going to spend a lot of time to actually talk about how design team work. Once we understand how design team works, then making the tools to work for the team becomes natural. For context, I don't work for Atlassian, and also my company uses Jira server version. So I do know Jira Cloud has a lot of additional functionalities to support design teams. So according to Atlassian on the website, there are over 65,000 companies worldwide are using Jira. So love it or hate it, or for whatever the reason, it is a tool many companies are using. We know engineers use it to monitor progress, identify bugs. We know PMs use it to identify business objectives and also establish product release targets. So we also know Jira has a lot of robust integrations and it can be flexible in configuration. Yet, I don't know if you heard this before, but I heard this many times from design team. Jira is not our tool. I don't know how often you hear about this. Why? So let's take a look. So on Atlassian's site, it mentioned many use cases for Jira. So it's from supporting agile teams, product management, project management, task management, bug tracking, requirements and test cases, software development. Also, we outlined a lot of good practices for DevOps to automate, integrate process with IT. It certainly didn't say here, design. That design is part of the software development, right? And if you were listening, Emily Freeman's talk yesterday, she was talking about developer experience. She specifically called out hire designer and pay them well. So today I'm even going to go in more in depth about what our product designers do, and more than just deliver the look and feel for it, but also deliver the experience with other disciplines. And we are part of the software development. But let's dig into it. Hear designers out a little bit. What is their concern? We've heard designers say design is a really process heavy versus output heavy. Jira supports more of the output rather than the process. And we've heard designers say that, designers don't really deal with issues, but focus on user flow, user journey, and details. Jira is hard to use to reflect all these processes. And then sometimes we hear designers will say, Jira is not flexible, and it's task-driven, doesn't facilitate the cross-functional discussion. And of course, Jira is a powerful tool, and it is overwhelming. So from operations perspective, why I ask this, right? Because Jira is the language the rest of the company is speaking, and we need to speak the same language. Can we bring structure, clarity, transparency, and scale to the design work by using Jira? Can we track design process and facilitate cross-functional collaboration by using this tool? You heard me talk about operations as service design earlier, right? So any service design, we start by focusing on finding the challenge, finding the need of the people. And the hypothesis here is that we can utilize Jira to help our design team if we can design a process that is flexible, that can include different design methods. So let's take a look at how design team is structured in many companies, probably. And also we can use, I'm going to use my company as an example, and how design works, how designers work with cross-functional partners to deliver products. So this is us. In this blue box, this is our team. Our team is actually called product experience team. We're not called product design team. Why? Because you can see that on our team, we have UX designers, we have visual designers, UX designers are the product designers. And then we also have user researchers, and we have a design system team, which consists of design system engineers and design system designers. And of course, we have people managers to manage all different functions. And also, we have DesignOps to support all these people. On the product side, we work with PMs, we work with engineers. On the design side, we work with content designers, we work with web designers, we also work with brand designers. So there's some requirement of flexibility in the tool to support all different functions. And then take a look at the product delivery methodology, right? Many tech companies started with this siloed waterfall delivery methods. PMs will create a PRD and then will give it to the designers. The design team will do the designer's thing, we'll do research, we'll do wireframe, journey map, and then we go back to talk to PM, and then we do the high fidelity mockup. And once that's done, we hand it over to engineers. And the engineers will take a look and say, wait a minute, we cannot do this. We don't have the right API. This is not going to work. And then you go back into PMs, and then we go this again. We know more and more companies are transitioning to a more collaborative agile deliver methodology, which looks like this. So this is what we call the EPD model. The engineer, PM, and the design work together. So it's a more flexible approach. The team will focus on user feedback, customer collaboration, and also focus on speed and efficiency. So the team will take an iterative planning approach. as the team develop more understanding of the team velocity and the customer's need. If we think about deliver better experience, listen to the customer, document, iterate, the EPD model is where the magic happens, right? Thinking about the experience. And PMs will bring the business perspective, and the engineers brings in the ideas and feasibility, as well designers will voice the customer's needs. So this model really allows the team to collaborate and also build long-term collaboration, long-term understanding, foster mutual trust. And one of our PMs actually told our designers, be the squeaking wheel. Don't wait for us to tell you what's happening. Come to talk to us. Tell us what you're being blocked. Tell us ideas, bring ideas and everything. So from why this is important for operations, right? So it is important because we want to see from an operations perspective, can we explore tools to help these conversations? And even within the Agile team, different specific product areas are tracking our progress differently. So some teams are working in sprints, some other teams are working in work streams, and their teams work quarters by quarters and by quarters, and they're using different tools as well. Some teams are using Smartsheet, sometimes the teams are just using Miraboard, small teams, and some other teams are using Google Spreadsheet. So the tracking methods is different, tools are different, and we want to make sure wherever we do, in this case in Jira, we can support all different way of tracking it. And we don't break their flow yet. So to support the EPD model, to support the EPD collaboration, the organization structure needs to match it. So there are 3 types of design orgs models. This was outlined by Peter Mahose and Christine Skinner's book, Org Design for Design Orgs, 2016. Since then, a lot of things have changed. But fundamentally, these 3 types, 3 models are still true for design team. And initially, and our team actually is a more centralized model. Essentially, it's behaving like an agency. We have a very small team. So designers are shifted from project to project. And when designers are moving from project to project, they're thinking more on the project level. It is hard to build relations with their cross-functional partners because they're working on the project, they get moved on the next project, get to move on the next prioritized project. So they rarely had an opportunity to work with their cross-functional partners to strategize the work. Hard to think about on the product level holistically and strategically. So we changed. Of course, we hired more designers. We had the opportunity to hire a little more designers, and we shift our team from this centralized model to this centralized partnership model, where a team of designers was embedded into the specific domain area. Why this is important to know? So from a tooling perspective, we need to be able to support the new way the team works, the new structure, and make sure we can actually track their work appropriately. So looking back, what are our challenges? We have different functions, and delivery teams have different delivery methodologies, and then we're transitioning to a new delivery methodology. And also we have different tracking methods. And then now the new organization model is matching the EPD model. So there are many approaches. So in my head, I was just already thinking about, oh, there's so many ways we can make this tool to work. Where to start, right? So many solutions. Whatever you do, don't do it alone. What we end up doing is that we actually started by reaching out to our designers and to actually many other people as well, to talk to our designers. We talked with our designers and the researchers, design system team. We also talked to our studied other disciplines, how engineers use the tool, how PMs use the tool, how the content designers use the tool. And remember, designers were saying, this is really not flexible and it's really overwhelming. So we actually also invite IT and the DevOps team to help designers to understand the flexibility of the tools. What can we do with this tool? And we also asked everyone to analyze what is working and what's not working, and what you hope to get out of this, and started from there. So you are very familiar with Jira, I assume, and I'm not going to go in depth of what exactly the Jira does and what is the tickets and everything, but on a very high level, I want to give a summary what we ended up with. So remember we talked about design team has different functions, and what we ended up doing is creating different project types for design, and that separate function, separate project type for user research, and a separate project for design system, because essentially these three different functions, the work is very different. And then for each project, we create a specific workflow for them by talking with them. And early on, remember designers were saying design is very process heavy, right? So these are some of the things that designers are doing. It's not just output driven. So designers will do user research, they will do field study, and they will do analysis, and they will do wireframes and journey maps. And also they will do lo-fi mockups. And on the delivery side, they will do high fidelity mockups. And also they will iterate, they will document all these tasks. So we actually made a mistake by creating two prescribed steps. At the very beginning, we tried it out. So let's just create very specific issue types so designers can identify what they're doing. And I know that the Jira Cloud, the new Jira Cloud, had some very specific issue types catered for design team now. So we actually started by creating all these customized issue types. And then we find out actually what we need is go simple, but be flexible. We ended up changing it and deprecate all these issue types, and then started by just using standard epic and stories and tasks. And we do have, just let the designers, let the team tell us what they need. As you can see, we have a specific art type here that's very catered for our needs, our team's needs, how we work. So what we learned is that go simple. Actually, it's good. Simple and flexible, and let people tell us what they need. We can bring it back in, add it back in. And to support the EPD model, right? We know our PMs always create ship tickets, and our engineers always have an RM to match that ship. So we created design epic to match all the ships. And this is where the EPD model, the magic happened, right? The PM, design, and the engineer are talking together, working on the same issue, same project and everything. But what is important to call out here is that this is really where we collaborate closely with the DevOps team helping us out. When this conversation, this EPD conversation didn't happen. So this is what it looks like. When the PM created ship tickets, there's no design epic attached to this ship. And we work with our DevOps. The DevOps team helped us to create linter warnings. So the DesignOps, our team will get a warning, will get an automated notification. It says, hey, there's a ship ticket, but there's no design ticket, go with it. And then the DesignOps will go talk to the design managers, designers. Hey, do you know there's this new project, there's this new product, there's this new feature PMs are thinking about. Have you had a conversation? And so this is where DevOps comes in and helps us tremendously. And to make sure that tickets, Jira is a place for conversation, or alert us when the conversation didn't happen. Another thing DevOps team really helped us is actually automate some of the process. Our company is a Google environment, so we use Google channels, chat a lot. And when we do that, and a lot of questions being answered in that in the chat, but sometimes there are higher issues need to create tickets. So DevOps team helped us to create all different kind of bots to generate tickets within the channel. So with this new format, it creates visibility and also create a place for collaboration. And it's a place for conversation. So talk a little bit about we transitioned our organization model to match the delivery methodology. Now let's talk about how do we measure for impact, right? Before, when the designers were moved from project to project, they're working in the project system in the project tickets and everything. So their tickets key will be the project key. It's really hard from top view to see what designers are doing, and then to keep track of what projects spin up, what tickets is design ticket, what ticket is the PM or engineer tickets and everything. They're scattered all over the place. It's hard to track. What we did is that we asked the designers to create design tickets. So we utilize the design ticket and they utilize the labeling system to help us to keep track. Are we in certain quarter? Are we in certain sprint within the quarter? Or which product we're working in? So this doesn't break the EPD model, doesn't break the EPD conversation. Standardization and automation helps our team to keep close contact with our cross-functional partner, and also enable us to track, measure our work. Tracking and measure is the first step to celebrate success. So we have all these rollout, we're done, right? No. There's a lot more the ops need to help our team to do. So we need to really educate the team. Our team, what's the new process, how we change the process. Outside our team, how we change the process, what our tickets are look like. And also, we didn't just push this out all at the same time. We actually phased it out, step by step, document it, and make sure designers are aware of the changes. Also, our cross-functional team members are aware of these changes. We also help our team working with the managers and the designers to document, educate the team how to use the new flow and what does it mean to create an epic. Where is the epic and how to attach to the ships and everything. And then another thing is important to know is that we actually also spend a lot of time to standardize our size. And we know that engineers are accustomed to creating pointing tickets, but designers are more accustomed to t-shirt size. This is where we need the designers where they are, create a customized field for t-shirt sizing. And as long as we are standardized, then on the back end, ops can just translate that into numerical number for calculation. Last thing is iteration. As I standing here talking about this today, I talked about we simplify the methods, simplify the flow, and now our team is bringing some task back to say, hey, can we look into adding some back into the flow? What worked in the past might not work today. What didn't work in the past might be needed and it might work today. So don't let the tools and process define how we work. Make sure that our tools support the process and then meets the needs of the people. These are some of the feedbacks that we're getting from people. So designers are, from designers' perspective, say, okay, now this tool can help us visualize our design process. And also we can have it's a place for conversation. We can have a conversation with PMs, engineers. And then from outside design experience, from the product experience team's perspective, PMs, engineers are telling us that we have a clear view what's in flight and that we can actually talk with designers about it. We also start to understand a little bit more how designer works, not just about the UI. There's other things designers do, right? So let the tool be a place for conversation. To recap, operations role, right? We help the team with logistics. We help the team to document and communicate changes, educate the team how to work with these changes. We iterate with the team. So by sharing our story about this one tool, I'm hoping I'm shedding some light for the DevOps team as well. And hopefully this knowledge becomes handy when next time you work with the design team or when you introduce a new tool to the design team, you know where to start. And some lessons we learned, iterate and also incremental steps. Don't push everything out at the same time. Prioritize what's the most important thing to do to focus first. And timing is everything. Keep iterating. So this is my story about a tool, Jira, but tools service people. As a design ops practitioner, managing tools is part of the crucial responsibilities, but there are many other tools we manage, right? So there's Miro, Figma, Maze, Dovetail, Google products, everything. It is important that we dig deeper into understanding how our team function and operate in order to optimize and the use of these tools. As with any organizational process, it's essential to begin the process with the people involved and ensure that the tools we utilize are tailored to meet their needs. This is DesignOps, a service to the design community. And thank you.
Thank you for sharing this with us, Zhi. We do have some questions from the audience. The first up was, do you have some special ceremony events in the EPD model to foster conversations?
Yes, ceremony events. So typically when the team formed, their different teams definitely would be different. So the kickoff meeting is really important. And then we have a lot of teams have a norming session just to actually get to know people. This is not even about the product, what the product's doing, but it's more of getting to know the people. Just set up some rules, like how I work and what's my working hours and where I'm located. We're a global company. So our specific product experience team, we have US folks, we also have EMEA folks, and so just establish some understanding for the team. So these will be at the very beginning forming the team, probably a lot of teams are doing. And the different specific domain areas, specific teams might have a different kind of a ritual. But kickoff and the norming is probably the most important thing.
Okay, cool. And we have one other question about moving work out of the product team backlog into the design's own backlog. Is that not against the principle of self-managing product teams when part of the work is done outside the team?
I'm trying to understand a little bit more about this moving outside the product backlog to the design own log. I think you're thinking about when the design was in the EPD model, creating the tickets, specifically the product backlog. I think that's what it's referred to. And it is not in a way against this self-managing product team, because for our specific company, we still have different separate organizations. We have the PM team. So I worked in teams that design, PM, and the engineer belong to the same organization and reports to the same organization. And in that sense, actually, everything stay in the product backlog make a lot of sense. For our specific company, it's not about the formality, it's also about how we track our work. Different work, we need to still track our, say, allocation, availability, and slightly differently, right? So we have to look at our designers' capability as well. But at some point, if our team are more all embedded more, and we could potentially consider moving back to the product backlog. So it's really dependent specific situation at the moment. I'm not saying one way is the right way, the other way is the wrong way, and it's just at this moment work for us to. But we make sure we have PM tickets, shift tickets, design tickets, and engineer tickets in one place.
Mm-hmm. And we have one final question. What is the most important skill of a DesignOps person right now?
Gosh, a few things. Change management and prioritization. And I was a designer, so I took a lot of the design skills and service design skills into design operation. But if you talk to another design ops practitioner, they probably have a different skill bring into their trade. And so I think I bring in the service design skill into design operation. And that's something I brought along with me. And the prioritization is something pretty much I'm borrowed more so from PM practice. And also there are some new skills I'm developing. It's really change management from operations perspective. It's really helping the team to grow. Also, as the process, a lot of time is helping the team to make changes as appropriate.
Okay, thank you for answering those questions. Again, thank you for joining us. This was, I think, quite a new concept for a great deal of us. So it's kind of fascinating to see how you've implemented this. And I think the term minimum delightful product should actually be adopted everywhere. That's much better than minimal viable product. So
I agree. I absolutely agree. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us again.
Hi, we're from Effico, the proud organizer of the DevOps conference. Our goal is to uncover cutting-edge talks, emerging ideas, and DevOps trends, providing a global forum for practitioners and decision-makers to learn and grow.
We would love to also explore how we can help you excel in DevOps together. Visit us at effico.com and enjoy the inspiring talks at the DevOps conference.